Welcome. My name is Ananda Suying, and this is an oracle card reading for the week beginning Monday, the 6th of May, and up to the 12th of May. We also have a new moon in the early hours of the 8th of May, and this is for London time. So I have used three decks. The first deck, I have the three cards on the top here. They're from the Angels of Atlantis Oracle cards by Stewart Pearce. And the second set are from the Gateway of Light Activation by Carl Gray. And I also picked a card, so it's the overriding message from our spirit guides and the universe for this week, and some reminder for us of the overriding energy for this week. I've been an angelic Reiki practitioner and teacher for over 12 years. I also offer Holy Fire Reiki, and I'm also a spiritual response therapy practitioner, and I work with sound. And as you can see, I've got a couple of gongs in the background there and a drum as well. So before we start with the reading, I'm just going to sound this little chime, and it's just to set up the most appropriate and loving energy, an energy of unconditional love and acceptance, so that we are able to receive the information that we can receive and which we would like to receive at this time, and just to ensure that everything which is said through unconditional love, acceptance, and according to the highest divine love. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to strike it 3 times. So you can also set your intention, because I do believe that even with an oracle card reading, it's not just the messages coming through my voice, but also the energy which comes through the cards and the reading. And so set your intention for what you would like to receive today. So this is my first reading for this series. And just take a few deep breaths and just relax. And just a final one. And just breathe. Okay. So the first card that we're looking at is that of grace, which is this one. And the angel whose energy it comes through is Gabrielle. And generally with a 3-card spread, it's to do with the past, the present, and the future. But I find that sometimes it's not quite a straight line, and the 3 can interlink. As we're working, we can work through all of these. And I found with this particular set that the ones at the top, the Angels of Atlantis ones, are more perhaps to do with what's going on in our consciousness, also on a physical level. And the Carl Gray set, it's really more what's happening on an energetic level. Of course, none of these are separate at all, but I think I may just have a look at them in this way for this particular reading. So Grace, we have this beautiful swan flying across the sky with many stars behind. For me, it seems to speak of moving, okay, not just into a state of grace, but I feel very much that it's a call to freedom, of really understanding what might be causing us to stagnate, to perhaps be restricted, or to feel that we are restricted. So it could very much be our perception. It could not necessarily, it's not necessarily about an actual physical impediment, but it's more what's in our mind, what we feel might be impeding us. Perhaps we need to look at our thoughts, because we've got this card of cleansing, and it's Raphael with a beautiful emerald at the top, and we're being called as well to have a look at our thoughts. Perhaps we need to detox and cleanse our thoughts, and that will help us to move into a place of much greater freedom, of grace, of purity. And finally, we have Raziel with faith, and we're also impulsed that whatever has been in our minds or in our consciousness for the past few weeks, and whatever's kind of been niggling us, okay, that maybe it's time to take a leap of faith. Yeah, but we're working through all these things at the same time. Where are we restricting ourselves? What thoughts are impeding us? What thoughts are we thinking which are stopping us from seeing where the freedom actually lies? Yeah, and also what the soul is calling for. Yeah, what the soul is calling for at this time, this new part of ourselves, this new gem that we want to be, this new aspect of ourselves. Because then we have these cards: Akashic Stargate, High Heart Activation, Orion Activation. So we've got 2 activation cards. But the Akashic Stargate, and one of the things which says here is aligned with purpose, crossroads, no wrong path. So again, this is where being called to make a choice. Now, which choice are we going to make? But the card is also saying there is no wrong path. Whatever we choose is going to be absolutely fine for us. But if we're restricted by our thoughts, we're not going to see that we have any choice. Yeah, and there's a lot of choice there. And when we are able to make a choice, we've taken that leap of faith, there's then the invitation for 2 activations. The High Heart Activation, and it's about dropping shields, divine love, your heart is healed. But I also find that the high heart is the gateway to the soul. Yep. Orion Activation, and the words at the bottom are supernova, recreation, renewal, rebirth by light. I feel with the Orion Activation and the stories that where the 3 stars are, it's possible that it's Mintaka, and that was the first thing which came to mind. Was it's supposed to be the gateway for souls to enter perhaps this part of the galaxy, or perhaps the Milky Way galaxy, but it's the first path, the first place they come to. And this is when they are then given the choice: well, would you like to be incarnated into a material body, into 3D, hence it'll be in this part of the galaxy, or perhaps they would prefer to reside in other dimensions and have their experiences there with the star peoples, perhaps the star peoples of Sirius, of Lyra, of Pleiades, and maybe even after a while, perhaps going into other galaxies like Andromeda. So what's happening for us? What else can we glean from this spread? And from looking at the 3 top cards again, and looking at the particular one with grace, Gabrielle is supposed to be helpful with communication, and the stone represented is supposed to be lapis lazuli, which is very, very good for the throat chakra. with that blue, a deep blue, and I have a lapis there, and it has white parts to the stone, and sometimes gold as well, pyrite and gold. And so what is happening? Let's just go a little bit deeper into each of the cards. Yeah, so I just really feel that there are choices that have to be made. On one level, it's also saying, well, okay, where have you been in a place where you feel that there has been very little grace, there's been very little leeway, it's been very heavy, it's been difficult, it's been challenging? And this card is saying, if it has been like that, don't worry, all it takes is a choice, taking one step forward, perhaps just changing direction, turning the face to a different direction. Yeah, instead of looking just in one direction. When I'm saying looking, I don't mean just with the eyes, but we know that when we change, we turn our focus perhaps from looking down at the ground for a long time, and then we turn it slightly higher up to the sky. We may notice, oh, okay, there's a lot more in that direction. I can see trees, I can see clouds, I can see birds, but we get a different view. So we're being asked, okay, have you been looking in just one direction for a little bit long? And there's absolutely no judgment. There's never any judgment. Perhaps that's what we've needed to do all this time, but now we're being asked, well, perhaps we can have a look at things in a slightly different way. And like I said, perhaps it's just a very, very slight change in the angle of focus. Where are we casting our eyes at the moment? Do we want to try changing that angle of focus to perhaps to the left, to the right, up, or perhaps even down? Or are we being asked, is it time to look inward? The new moon generally is a time for looking inward, for going deep. And I love that card, Grace, because it's not so much our sky, is it? In the daytime, it's more the night sky, and it's more like the swan is flying amidst stars. And that swan is an invitation for us with this card to take off this energy, to merge with her or him, to merge with the purity that they're so known for. And with that purity and with the grace of the universe, of God, it helps us to perhaps be able to cast our eyes or cast our focus to a different direction, to a different angle, which will give us a different viewpoint and perhaps a different perception, which is what we need at this time. Please excuse the little tippy tappies, it's the dog. Oh, okay, he's decided to lie down now. So I feel that that's what the card is saying. What choices? You have lots of choices. We may not understand it, but we do. All it is a slight, but just even a half angle change of viewpoint, of focus. Yep. And it could be very much physical. I feel that the three are perhaps physical. So if you've been finding that you've been looking down physically, actually looking down, and your shoulders have been heavy, perhaps it's time to have a little bit of self-care, have a lovely bath, go for a good massage, have it changed so that you're able to look at things differently, or actually physically look around you differently. Okay, so the cleanse is to help us with this state, as well. I just feel that these three things can run concurrently and they help each other. So the cleanse, perhaps it's a good time to have a look at our diets, to look at where we live. Perhaps it's time to go out in nature a little bit more, breathe some fresh air, to go and have some forest bathing perhaps. And I find that nature is always a loving and a beautiful place, and it helps us to reconnect with Earth. We are part of Earth. We kind of forget it, and it's a reminder that that's really, really important. There's also fire and water represented. So if you'd like to use the chance to perhaps write things that you want to let go of, write old thoughts that you want to release, you can write them down, burn them, and then cast them into a river or a stream. And that will help you with your process of shifting your focus, casting your eye in the direction that you'd like to. And taking a leap of faith, knowing that whatever, being confident that you're supported no matter what, that it's safe, and having faith in your decisions, in your own decisions, in your own capacity to navigate life. And I think there's also quite a message about knowing that the earth supports us. It's something that I've read this week as well, remembering that the earth always supports us. And just because there can be lots of forest fires and lots of floods in parts of the world, that is also the earth going through her own process of detoxing, of cleansing, of renewal. And it is part of the cycles of life, of the cycles of destruction. So getting rid of the old, getting rid of things which restrict us, which we don't need anymore, and then embarking on a new state, new thoughts, working towards the decisions that we make, towards the path that we want to take. Okay? And underlying all of this on an energetic level, it's the choices that we make. I just feel that we are becoming more aware of perhaps some capacities or gifts that we have, which we would like to explore. There's no wrong path. I think through our education system, we're not really allowed to make mistakes, or and they're not even mistakes. Perhaps we just needed to investigate something, and then we found it's not really for us actually, or you found something which was so valuable, and then now you can move on to something else. And I'm not saying that the decisions that we make now are temporary. It's not, and that we should expect failures. It's got nothing to do with that whatsoever. It's just saying it's no wrong path. And I'm feeling that actually this has got long-term results. It's going to be, if I'm getting like this picture of lovely crystals, like a necklace, and this is just perhaps a couple of the beads on the necklace, and it's just part of a pathway, a part of a whole set of beautiful crystal beads, kind of pinky and purpley and green, and that it's an exciting time. We're aligning with our own Akashic records. We're able to go through all space and time to merge with parts of ourselves which perhaps existed on this plane, or may exist, because past, present, future, it's not a straight line. It's not linear, and you could be connecting. It's an invitation to really connect with all of you. And this Stargate, I wonder, and also with the higher heart activation, I wonder if more and more of us are starting to be open to more of our soul energy, and perhaps we've got soul families coming through as well. It's quite interesting with the Orion activation and the Orion Stargate. Perhaps it's not quite the soul family, it might be further aspects of our soul coming through. I don't, you know, there's a lot more to humans than meets the eye. And I believe that there's this very strong connection to all parts of our soul. There could be parts of our soul in other universes. I really believe that. Yeah, maybe you don't, but you know, it's all a matter of perception and opening our minds to all the possibilities. And I kind of feel like as if there is the invitation to call to, it's almost like a lover's call, you know. I feel that when I feel at home, that I think that's when I'm very grounded and I'm embodying more of my soul. And this feeling of home is the feeling of me, my soul, more of my soul coming, being experienced at this time in my body. So I just wonder whether more of us, or some of us, have this capacity, or we are being invited to call more parts of our soul to come through so that we can embody it. And there's greater angelic energy. It's not just angelic as well, it's Elohim energy, creator energy, not just archetypal energies of creation, which I believe angels are, but also the Elohim, which are the creative gods, are the creator energies as well, which come through with the angelic realms. And also with the higher heart activation, really speaks to me of our soul and our soul energies and our soul purpose. We also have to remember that we are adventurers here. It's not just one, it's not just a single purpose, but it can be many which we weave into the fabric of our lives and the fabric of our body, and which makes it very, very exciting, a little bit tricky sometimes, of course, and challenging being human, but that's the exciting thing about being human, is this capacity to embody so many parts of our soul which may reside in many different dimensions, and being able to anchor them in this body at this time. So I think this is a very exciting week. And of course, card readings, you can take this for the rest of your year if you want, but I'm sure that there'll be other messages next week for us. But yeah, it's however you would like to receive the energy and the message of the cards. And I found that I needed to pick one more card. I really love these. The Flower of Life deck by Denise Jarvie. And what I'll do is I'll have below the video the names of the decks that I've used, and I'll also place the pictures of the cards so that you can see them a little bit more clearly, and you can read the words below them. But this card came up as a reminder for all of us throughout all of this energy, and it's really lovely. You are loved. So what a absolutely wonderful message, and a wonderful way to just complete this reading. So thank you very much. And I really love the pictures. They're all nature, basically nature based, and I think it's a lovely message, just reminding us that no matter what choices you make, No matter what you do, whatever someone says, oh, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? Blah. The universe doesn't judge. We judge. Humans judge. No one else does. The dogs, the cats, the trees, and the earth. She doesn't judge, but we do. And it's daft. And we're reminded that we are loved. Whatever decisions we make, whatever paths we take, whether we whether we choose to stay as we are, it's okay. We're still loved and we're never judged. Okay, so thank you very much. I hope this was useful for you. And I'm just going to sound this once to complete this. And I hope you join me in future weekly readings. I also give one-to-one readings, and I also give one-to-one healing sessions over Zoom, or you can come in person. I also run gong bars, and I offer sound healing as well. Okay, so thank you. Just sound this, and I'll say goodbye before I sound it so I don't interrupt the